All right, guys, we're back. And Vesku, Perth-based producer, also from Finland, a countryman. So welcome to Perth.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I'm going to just introduce Vesku a little bit. He's got a huge background in music. He has achieved number one debut singles on the Finnish billboards back in the day, A-list radio play, rotation on MTV Base in the UK, sponsorships from the likes of Samsung, Vans, and Ray-Ban. He started his own radio station in Helsinki back in the day, becoming the first mainstream media to specialize in urban pop and culture in Finland. So he's come up with the recipe to commercialize and bridge music artists and international brands. He sold the radio station in 2016 and moved to Hawaii for 2 years. Moved to Perth in 2016, and now he is en route to build a first-of-a-kind 360-degree music and entertainment company in Western Australia. Currently, he is housing 8 promising artists, 3 of which we have the honor of having here today. Welcome, guys. And he has produced 2 singles for the country star Adam Brand, I'm Coming Home and Still the One. They've been spending 8 months, I believe, on Australia's country town Hot 50 radio charts. And yeah, Vesku's consistently on the lookout for exceptional new talent and partnership opportunities. And so let's jump to Still the One. And we have Vesku in the house. And so a couple of questions to you, Vesku. We've had a fun time being all Finnish. We actually had our pre-interview meeting in the sauna, and I remember how our cultures differ. You know, we went to what was that burger joint down the road in Northbridge? We went to get some burgers, and I think it was Varsity or whatever. And yeah, the lady behind the counter was like, "Oh, so what are you guys up to tonight?" And Vesku goes in this thick Finnish accent, "We are going to sauna together." And this lady looks at us and goes, "All right, you boys have fun." Well, it's just not, you know, it's just a
Steamworks.
Yo, it's just yeah, it sounded pretty steamy to an Australian lady behind the counter, but you know, like sauna is, you know, where we. That's where we dwell, man. That's where we have our negotiations. That's probably where a lot of good ideas are born. And I don't know. So it's just a very interesting thing, kind of for us as Finns here in Perth.
And actually, to kind of cut the story, the song that we just listened to, I got the idea in the sauna. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, word.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Was wanting to ask you a few things. I'm aware of your sports background as well, and so do you see sports tying into music? Because I know that you're coaching teams here in Perth as well. Do you see like affinities? Do you see things that kind of connect with coaching in sports, as into also fostering these artists and supporting them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in both cases, sports and music, we always aim to bring the level of excellence. You know, both demand a lot of work to get really good at. Different tools, but you know, similar goals. So definitely there are a lot of similarities for that.
Sweet, yeah. I thought it would be the case. And then I think we mentioned this in our sauna session that rejection is a very big part of the industry, also in sports, but most definitely in music. You know, you present your ideas, you present whatever, something to someone who, you want to take your work forward, you want it to see the light of day. Have you been rejected in the past?
I'm sure we all have in different ways. I kind of remember going way back, growing up in a very small town in Finland and kind of being the odd kid in town.
Yeah.
Definitely felt like being rejected many times. I was the first guy in our city to kind of have baggy pants.
Those baggy pants.
And got bullied a lot from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Also just from the aspect that my parents, it's a small town, so everybody knows everybody's business. And my parents have a faith background, so that was a kind of a big deal in the city as well.
Oh, yeah.
Got bullied for that, so got rejected from, just different games, participating in different things. But of course, then entering into professional music and professional sports as well. I got picked up by the top teams at a pretty young age. I think I was 15 when I made the contract with the top men's team in in Finland in a bigger city, and then having all the expectations of, okay, I'm one of the guys, but then not getting the same opportunities as all the stronger men did. So definitely have come through rejections quite a bit in my life, but you just overcome it and become stronger. So
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, how did you come back from such a situation where you get straight up rejected?
I think you just have to kind of know who you are as a person and have a strong identity, and I think that's something that I've always carried my whole life. Maybe that's something that my mother imparted to me when I was young.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Also had a strong faith in God, and that's been really kind of a solid thing my whole life. That's been my rock. Even when obstacles come, I've been always able to kind of lean back on my values and know that there's better things ahead.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Bless. Tell me about it. First time you heard a dope track.
I think an artist that really kind of went deep in my soul for the first time was Michael Jackson. I was born 1980, and MJ's debut came out 79, Off the Wall.
Oh yeah, Off the Wall, man. Quincy Jones. Yeah, man.
Brilliant stuff. I must have been 4 or 5 years old when I heard the music for the first time, and then saw the music videos as well.
Yeah.
I remember I was 4 or 5 and started to pick up the dance moves, and just even like when you press play on the album, the first track, the bass line, it just takes you along for a ride. Second track, Rock With You, it just gets better and better.
Man,
so I mean, MJ's definitely been the biggest influence for me personally.
Yeah, I think Quincy was ahead of his time as well. Hey, what I would give to see 7-year-old Vesku practicing his pop locks in his bedroom to a Quincy Jones track. So then another question about the entertainment industry in general. Because you've been involved in the entertainment industry for a long time, so how do you feel it's changed in the past 10 years? Has it changed for the better or for worse?
It's a good question, Lauri. It has changed a lot. I think when I got started 20 years ago, it was about developing the talent long term.
Yeah.
It definitely has become more of a fast food industry.
Fast food franchise.
Yeah. It's all about having hot singles these days, which I love as well. That's part of the industry that I've decided to be part of. But I do miss the kind of just going back into the basics, where you see talent and you start developing that for long-term goals. Like these days, record labels, they are interested in signing people who just have large social media platforms themselves, and they might not have
TikTok's blowing up.
Exactly. So they might not even have any talent, but then they see, okay, this guy has 5 million followers, so let's make a song for him and kind of just make the easy money.
Yeah. Get an AI to write a song.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, like just the basics, how we find talent as well. So back in the days, you actually had to go out and see live music a lot, and then wait for people to send you good demos. But I'd say over 50% of the talent that the labels sign these days, it used to be SoundCloud, now it's TikTok, like you mentioned. So it has changed heaps the last 10 years.
Okay, with that, just aware of the time, I would love to ask you a bunch more, but hopefully we can invite you back at some point.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. And so yeah, can you just say a few words about your first guest here? That's cool, Sam Nafi. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Nafi?
Yeah, Sam Nafi.
Nafi. Okay. Yeah. Apologies, man. Sam Nafi. So yeah, we could go on to a track which is previously unreleased, guys. You're gonna hear this for the first time on radio.
World debut
of Sam Nafi.
Sam Nafi, he's a brilliant singer, amazing artist. I got to meet Sam a bit over a year ago.
Yeah.
Through a mutual friend, and I think the next day I went to check out his gig live, and just was blown away by his voice and the presence, and I think just a few days after that, I pulled him into the studio and we started working on original music. And the song that we're going to play, it's called Crazy For Your Love, and it will be the first single for Sam. World debut on radio for you guys, so it's a special treat.
That's beautiful, man. Hit it.
Here we go.
Coming to you from Rockingham, IPL Radio.
All right, guys, we're back on the yarn. Holmes, Arts and Music, real conversations with real artists. So, first of Vescu's proteges, Sam Nafi. I heard Relapse, looked it up on YouTube, and it's a pretty sweet track. And at the same time, like, having followed your socials for a while, and for example, Mo Hippa, the setup that you've got, you guys frequent at Ellington, I believe, and other venues. It's a bit more of a, maybe you want to say a few words about Mo Hippa as well.
It started from a friend who wanted to play blues and New Orleans music,
Sweet.
which is actually a learning curve in itself for me. Like, it's really different. I come from maybe soul R&B background.
Yeah.
And you think R&B, rhythm and blues, blues is going to be easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a whole different kettle of fish. That sings some BB King and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sweet.
For New Orleans.
Yeah, sweet. So hearing Relapse, guys, you can find Relapse on YouTube. Can you say a few words about Relapse?
Yeah. So at the time, I was still studying at WAPA, Academy of Performing Arts, and I was doing the contemporary course. I had a jazz vocal friend in at WAPA, and her housemate was Carl Thomas, which is Shock One.
Shock One, yeah.
Bass DJ.
Yeah.
He was looking for someone to, he was making his debut album. He's had singles and EPs out there, and I went over and we did a few sessions and we finished up the song, and the label really liked it, wanted it to be a single. It got, because the label was UK based, Viper Recordings, and somehow I think it got played airplay on like Radio 1 in the UK.
It's got something like 1.5 million views as well. It got a fair bit of eyeballs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was, I don't understand that. Seeing the views go up. By
but
hundreds of thousands.
must have been a sweet feeling though to see your blood, sweat, and tears go into that, and then it gets that kind of recognition.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Big props obviously to Shock One for having kind of the fan base that he has, and for him to allow me to kind of jump on and ride that awesome kind of little wave.
Yeah. Just a few words about Sam's background. So he's a soulful pop singer based in Perth, WA. He was born in Indonesia and emigrated to Sydney before eventually moving to Perth. And he was raised on a healthy dose of gospel, soul, and R&B. He honed a sound channeled from the greats, which resulted in perfect alchemy that was most notably palpable when he collaborated with the internationally renowned Shock One on Relapse, as I mentioned. It's received high rotation on Triple J, BBC Radio, won by Zane Lowe, and amassed 1.3 million views on UKF Dubstep's YouTube channel. He's a seasoned session vocalist. I've seen him on stage a few times, and I'm always thrilled to see my man Sam tear it up on stage. He's performed most venues in Perth. He's also fronted the 40-piece Perth Symphony Orchestra in a sold-out arena. Shared festival stages with artists like Salt and Pepper and Basement Jaxx. Now, I think going back to Relapse quickly, so it is very much a different thing compared to Mo Hippa. Is that a thing for you? Do you enjoy pushing the envelope and experimenting with new stuff?
Well, prior to that, I didn't know I could. So I came up in kind of the organic scene, aka like real drums, real bass, whatever, real instruments, and I front a band. And then and then being thrown. I mean, I remember going to the first session with Shock One and thinking dubstep was Fat Freddy's Drop.
Fat Freddy's Drop is the dopest.
right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that. Are they like Polish
They're
or something?
Reggae dub, no, from New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Reggae, just
I
global.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love their vibe.
And then he was
Yeah.
like, no, that's not. He listened to some Nero, some Chase and Status, I think, at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
okay.
Like, well, that's not what I thought it was.
Yeah,
So
sweet.
then just seeing that my voice could sit well on a crazy track like,
yeah,
Shock One as like a dubstep thing, which because we got in, I guess we got in just before Skrillex blew up.
Oh,
or
yeah.
just at the same
Yeah.
time. And
Oh,
so
sweet.
that's, it was
Yeah.
great timing.
yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah, and I just didn't know that it was possible. But since then, it kind of opened my eyes that, I'm thankful for this voice that's kind of versatile. I could jump on anything.
Yeah, 100%. And which now brings us to the track that we've just heard,
Yeah.
which is also yet another venture. Can you guys say a few words about how this all came about?
Yeah, I was already like a couple of years ago when I still lived in Hawaii. I started to work on the music for this one, and kind of my process is that I constantly create new music, and then I just kind of find the right voice, the right talent to fit the song.
Yeah,
And I played it to Sam, and he was like, "This is cool, man.
this is dope.
Yeah, and it's funny how music also works in kind of cycles.
Oh, for sure.
So this one has kind of a heavy garage two-step drum pattern kind of going on the background, and that was
Yeah.
really big. Maybe 10 plus years ago,
Yeah, that's it.
and now it's coming back again.
Yeah.
So it was kind of really, really cool to revamp that sound. And maybe you want to share something about it?
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of a 90s thing with Craig David, and then he had a comeback. And then
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then you have like artists like Disclosure still putting out Garage, like even like one of their latest singles. But also it resonated with me when Vess played it, because I lived in the UK,
Yeah.
in London for a couple of years, and I've always had a great fascination with what the UK does with music, as in when they took blues and the Rolling Stones took blues, and that they did their own thing.
Yeah.
Like the acid jazz era,
Oh,
took
for
funk
sure.
and
Yeah.
they did their own thing.
Yeah.
And garage, I think they took like R&B and soul, because it's always very soulful.
Yeah.
And with the way like UK rap, grime, they take American hip hop and did their own.
Do their own thing, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like I'm a bit of a chameleon as well. Like
Yeah.
growing up in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Born in Indonesia, growing up in Australia, and then loving like African American music. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know there's no limit for me. So
Mm.
it's good
That's
fun.
that's one of the things that I love about Sam. He's so versatile. So
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love
Dude.
music.
Yeah, keep pushing the envelope, man. That's really inspiring to see that you have that courage to to open yourself up to new kind of vibes and beautiful things come out of that.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So again, conscious of the time. So I'm doing a thing called Music Oracles, and so Sam, I believe you've already picked your music
Yeah, I
oracle,
did.
and we're about to reveal it. He's randomly picked the card.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your music oracle for today?
drum roll.
Hey.
Amy Winehouse.
Another British relation.
What?
What is happening?
Yeah. Sweet, man. Okay, so the first one is Attitude with the Sunnies. What does that say?
Learn to love your truant heart. Truant's like
Truant heart. Learn to love your truant. Okay, my English is not my first language. What is truant? I don't know. Somebody look it up.
usually truant is like when you constantly get told to go to the front office and see the principal. You're usually a truant.
So is
that your-
translating into kind of like a rebellious heart?
Yeah,
Or?
maybe.
Oh yeah, rebellious heart. Well, that's definitely Amy,
That
right?
outside of you.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, sweet. So, so the second one's lifestyle.
Yeah. Honeymoons should last a lifetime.
Honeymoon should last a lifetime.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What?
I mean,
That is so
single, I
true.
wouldn't know.
Yeah, I know. I think maybe it's like a symbolic, thing. Like
Sure.
honeymoon is like,
Even with
it's just like a
anything.
honeymoon with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Sam.
Oh, with
I'm
music.
not, I'm not sure if I
whatever
love
it
that
is.
image, but let's go to music. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
honeymoon by yourself doesn't sound like
Yeah.
the greatest honeymoon, but yeah.
Okay.
This is being
Yeah.
a truant.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So the third one's inspiration.
Yeah. Treat your scars as your best feature. Cool.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
That's
That's
actually a
deep.
pretty good one.
Really
That's
good.
deep, man. Yeah.
Just learn from
Yeah.
experiences,
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
So are these actually things that Amy has said?
Yes,
or-
these are all quotes by the actual artist.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Amy.
Amy.
Oh yeah, Amy laying it down.
Shout out
That's
to Mark
lovely.
Ronson as well.
Oh yeah,
That's
100%.
beautiful. All right, so we've got another artist coming up. So are we gonna do? We want to do Ivan next.
Ivan,
Ivan,
Mr.
Ivan,
Birdman, Ivan Bajaro.
Ivan. Yeah, so Vesku's gonna cue up a track here, and we'll just take a quick look at his background here as well.
Shall we go into the music right away?
Yeah, so you want to say a few words about Ivan's track as well, what that is.
Yeah.
I'll crank it up a bit and say a few words about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I met Ivan.
Ivan, is it what you? Okay, what do you prefer, man? Is it Ivan or Ivan?
I don't mind. But in Spanish, I mean, some people are like, how is said in Colombia, or like you grew up, how was it said in Ivan? And then it's like, okay, I'll call you Ivan. But then some people forget and they call me Ivan. So that doesn't, doesn't affect my personality. So
Let's not forget
Ivan.
that today and call you Ivan then.
Ivan, yeah.
No, that's all right, bro.
Ivan.
Come
Proper
on.
Yeah, so I met Ivan a bit over 2 years ago, and actually originally kind of pulled him in to do media stuff with us.
Okay.
He's done video on social media, and he has a very musical background, but he hadn't kind of started to build a vision for becoming an artist himself. And I think it was just kind of immediate for me that I saw something in him. And also I was really keen to start working on reggaeton music, just kind of seeing the explosion of the whole Latin music globally and
100%.
worldwide.
Yeah.
And
Stuff that Justin Bieber's doing, for example, and yeah.
seems like
100%.
everybody's doing it these
a lot
days.
of people are doing it these days.
Yeah, so for the last 2 years we've been just patiently working with Ivan on music. I think we've pretty much finished like almost 10 tracks together.
Oh, sweet. That's a lot.
And the song that we're gonna play, it's kind of very relevant for the time that we are in. It's called Love Vax, and it talks about the whole last year what's been going on with pandemic. And
Yeah.
there
Very
would be a
relevant.
lot to talk, on the topic with like mental health and restrictions and everything that's been affecting me. But we kind of wanted to give a positive spin to the track. So in this one, it's kind of like love is our vaccine.
Oh, nice.
Goes deep.
Nice. That goes
Yeah,
deep,
yeah.
man. That goes deep. Hit it. That's cool.
And I have to say also, Sam Naffy is featuring on the track as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, here we go.
Welcome to the yarn. All right, guys, we're back. So it's Larry and Vesco and Ivan in the house. And so, I'm gonna just introduce Ivan as an artist a little bit, get an idea of what who you're talking to. And so he's a reggaeton rapper and pop artist from Carta. How do you spell that? Cartagena?
Cartagena.
Cartagena.
Yeah,
He's from Cartagena, Colombia.
that's right.
Yeah, came to Perth in 2019, pioneering Australian reggaeton and dancehall, and quoting the bridge to the mainstream gap that Australia has been waiting for, combining both Spanish and English in his music. And so, I kind of jumped on that, listening to a few of your tracks at school. I had the pleasure of, hearing these, getting privy to these unreleased tracks. And so, what in your opinion makes a great reggaeton track?
Well, I feel like reggaeton has been the venue for the world to know the Latino community and the Latino culture,
Yeah,
like mainstream.
yeah,
So I feel like a good reggaeton track is a reggaeton track that can communicate our culture
yeah,
in our language, because reggaeton is not reggaeton without Spanish, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it is very cool to see people that appreciate, like, from outside Latin America. They appreciate the culture. They love Spanish, and I think what we communicate. I think, like, even thinking about an artist like Bad Bunny or El Alfa, or just artists, even Daddy Yankee, like what they have communicated. Let's say Despacito, like they have like Daddy Yankee communicating this party scene, and there's even, like, I remember seeing, like, an interview, he talking about it and how he put not only reggaeton but just different Latin vibes in the song, and I think that's what makes a big, like, reggaeton track come to life, just kind of like communicating that, yeah.
Is it a are they usually stories about life or love or I don't know, violence, or what is there, like, a theme, or can they be just party tracks, or all of those?
Yeah, so I think, like, reggaeton, it does has, like, some reality in it. I think it's all about, like, I think our culture is really optimistic no matter what.
Yeah, okay.
Like, we go through a lot of things, but even just the artists, Puerto Rico, like, it's an island. That's where reggaeton came from.
Oh, okay, from Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So Daddy Yankee, Don Omar, like, those were the pioneers of reggaeton, and, like, even his first album of Daddy Yankee, like, he has different tracks that talks about different issues, and but it's always like, Latinos, we always find a way to party. Doesn't matter how things are, and that's part of how the songwriting comes through.
Yeah, okay.
And it might be a party song, but it might talk about politics. It might be
about kind of disguised
like
as a party song.
Yeah,
kind of like a Trojan horse.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the more mainstream we have been reggaeton, that's I think some of those elements have been lost, but then at the same time, I believe, like, even Bad Bunny is really known to have, like, emotions on his songs, and, like, he can make you party, but then it's kind of like he's talking about a breakout, like, and that's also part of our culture. It doesn't matter if we're going through a breakout or if we're going through stuff. So I think that's how we do music.
A party breakout.
Yeah, party breakout music. Yeah.
Maybe we just came up with a new genre.
Party breakups.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, definitely your next single, Party Breakup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up in Colombia?
Well, like every Colombian or every Latin American, we grew up Catholic, so like religion is a big part of our culture, and so my mom was she's more like evangelical, Protestant, and my dad was Catholic. So growing up with that, but also even my dad, he's a music lover. He wasn't as good, but he always loved music. Like, he would just sit down with his friends on the street and listen to. So he actually loves English, and that was the reason. Like, that's one of the influences that I have to actually, like, I want to learn English. Even my mom, even though they're not together, but I think she acknowledges that as well. The talent in my dad to even, like, be a English teacher or something. But even I remember, I just love those memories of my dad sitting down with beers with his friends, like TV full screen with his friends, and then putting, like, Bob Marley or Madonna or
nice.
I mean, of course, salsa and all of the Latino stuff, really old school, but just definitely. I do have, like, even though like, they divorced and everything when I was 10, I do have a lot of good memories of my childhood, and
sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that people go through as well, and
party breakup.
I guess we had to put something together on that one. But I think growing up in Colombia, it's a really amazing, like, family oriented, even just in friendships, and how, like, you do life. in neighborhood and stuff. You know everybody as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sounds like your parents kind of gave you a gift by like encouraging you to learn English as well.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
because that kind of struck me as something quite unique, that you combining Spanish and English in your music. So I started to wonder, because you know you've just recently landed in Australia. So is this combining Spanish and English, is that a part of a search for your identity here in Australia as an artist?
Yes, I will say yes. Here in Australia, especially I'm working with Vess and Sam and Kate and all of us. You know, just put all of our talent in one room and coming out. And I think my job is being like, okay, I can communicate what's Latino culture the best, so we can actually come up with something cool.
Yeah.
But I also like, even like knowing Vess, he also has like an influence from Spanish. Like you knew Spanish as well. Before, back in the day.
I did study Spanish for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So even like the Spanish guitar style that you always love in your music, and I think, I think that also comes through in some of the tracks as well. Yeah.
I can kind of quickly answer to that as well, because of course we want to reach a big mass of people.
Yeah.
And we are living in a country that, English is the first language.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
definitely we want to be able to communicate kind of Ivan's identity as a Latino rapper.
Yeah.
But then also speak the language that we have here in Australia. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so just looking at the time here. So again, we've got the musical oracles. Ivan, have you picked your card?
I had.
Okay,
I did.
drum roll.
All right. Patti Smith.
Patti Smith. Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Interesting. So what do we have? What's the first one? Attitude.
Is it the glasses one, right?
Yeah, the glasses.
Okay, Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not yours. That's
I think you picked the wrong guy there.
But not yours.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So lifestyle. Okay. Let's just chew on that for a while.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, Patty, you're wrong, but it's okay. We all learn. It's all right. It's not too late for you, Patty.
Oh, yo, Patty. Yeah.
The other one
Patty
is
Boom Batty. All right. So what's Patty's got to say about lifestyle? That's the bottle.
Oh yes, learn to make peace with eternal dissatisfaction, right? Dissatisfaction.
Yeah, dissatisfaction. Yeah. Learn to make peace with eternal dissatisfaction.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So so you're never satisfied, but you might as well make peace with that. Yeah.
Seems like Patty was not a happy guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, then we got inspiration.
The inspiration, the most powerful form of rebellion is of the spirit.
Wow.
Interesting.
The most powerful form of rebellion is the spirit.
I quite like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting quotes. Yeah.
Let's give Patty 1 out of 3.
Yeah. 1 out of 3.
All right. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
for being here, Ivan. Really appreciate it. It's very inspiring to hear your story about growing up in Colombia,
Yeah.
and the way that you strive to push boundaries, just like your man Sam here, by learning a new language and interpreting, bringing that into your music as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
I love that track that we played.
Yeah,
Real
you
dance
do.
track, hands in the air, and they all went up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually, just a quick note. I went to Santos and Picadores, and Vesco brought these guys on, and that was on fire. That whole place was jam packed. That was definitely something to see. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ivan Pajaro.
That's right.
Awesome.
All right, so next up we've got Kate Johnson, and we're just gonna jump onto a track by Kate. All right, guys, we are back on the yarn. Holmes pronouncing music, real conversations with real artists. Here in the studio, we have producer Vesco, and then one of his proteges, Kate Johnson. And so, Kate is a 23-year-old UK artist. Moved to Australia in 2020 to pursue a musical career. She started singing at a very young age and always had a talent for words. And she remembers as a 16-year-old busking on the streets of Liverpool and performing in various venues since then, in both the UK and WA. She enjoys making music that people are able to relate to and connect with. She draws inspiration from Ed Sheeran, Gabrielle Laplin, and Justin Bieber. And her kind of specialty is easy listening pop radio tracks, which we just heard one of her unreleased ones. And so, tell me more about Ed Beeps and Gabrielle Laplin, whom I haven't known about before. What about them resonates with you?
Oh, so much. So I think like probably when I was a teenager and like quite young, Justin Bieber wasn't really on my radar. He was kind of everybody else loved him, and I was like not about the hype.
Yeah, okay.
So I was like, oh, I don't care. But Ed Sheeran and Gabrielle Laplin. So Gabrielle Laplin's a UK artist. She's an independent artist. And I think something I just really loved is just the way she uses words.
Yeah.
And that's just been a really big thing for me, even outside of music, just like how words really influence people and like how you can build people up or completely tear them down using words. And you have to be really careful with the kind of words you choose.
They're very powerful.
Yeah, and even just in like storytelling and in songwriting, I'm just very careful about, okay, what am I saying? What am I communicating? How do I do this in a more interesting way? Like, how do I say this differently to the world? And I think that her and Ed Sheeran both are people who I just really look up to in a way. The way that they use their words and the way that they write lyrically, I just find so fascinating. And then I think kind of as I've gotten older, I've just have such a respect for Justin Bieber's melodies and just the ways, especially sort of his newer stuff, like his Justice album was just phenomenal. Like just his use of melody and like, just the different like spectrums that he touches on. I just was like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like the range that he has and even just doing something a little bit different, but that still kind of lends itself to what everyone wants to listen to kind of thing. So I just really respected that. So I think that's like, what really inspires me the most, and that combination of the two.
Okay, awesome. And so, about that songwriting process and the way with words, do you care to elaborate a little bit on your process? Like, do you write little snippets and combine them, or do you come up with a whole song in one go?
It really depends on the song, to be honest. Okay. So there's definitely been times where I've like had an idea for something, so I've like gone in my phone and written a little note, or like Vest likes to write songs in the sauna. I'm more of a shower songwriter. So that's been like, I'll be in the shower and I'll be like, oh, I have this random thing pop into my head and I'll have to jump out and write it down. Yeah. Shampoo still in my hair. Yeah, okay. So sometimes it's like that. Other times I just might have an idea for a song and I'm like, oh, I kind of just am in the zone, so I just sit and write it. And I normally start with some kind of melody first, or like some sort of chord progression tends to be the main kind of essence of the song first. Okay. And then the lyrics kind of come later, because I find the lyrics the easiest, because I think I'm just very used to doing it, and so like the words just kind of flow. So as long as I have a melody or like, you know, a way to have them mixed together, I can do the words no bother. So it's normally like that. And then when I'm with Vess, it's more, he'll kind of come to me with a track or be like, oh, I have this instrumental, or we'll build something up, and I'll just have a concept in mind and go, okay, well, let's start writing. And I'll just kind of write along to it.
So you'd say kind of that you kind of, from the music, kind of the words emerge. Yeah,
I think so. I think like definitely if you listen to like instrumental tracks, like music is so powerful, it makes you feel certain things. Like I think everybody knows that. So when you listen to an instrumental track, you kind of get ideas about what it could be about, or what the music is talking to you about, what it's saying through that. So I think I just listen to instrumentals and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like this song is going to be like maybe it's a breakup song, or this song is going to be like this kind of like pick me up, like inspirational, like you can do it kind of song, or you know what I mean? Like I'll just listen to the track.
You kind of catch a vibe off the track.
Yeah, catch a vibe, and this is just kind of where I feel like it's going, or just getting a sense for like what's out there, and and even trying to think like, okay, what's not out there? What are people not saying? What are people not singing about? That actually maybe would be a really great conversation for us to have in our culture. So I'll kind of think about that a lot and be like, okay, what are we talking about here? And that was kind of the inspiration with the track we listened to before, Too Cool. Because there's a lot of breakup songs that surface, a lot of songs about love. Yeah. But I've just been noticing in our culture recently, we're getting very attached to little relationships that, like, you know, aren't like anything to be, I don't know, too attached to, I guess. But, you know, just like even like the dating scene, like we're taking dating very seriously. Yeah. And it's like the whole point of like dating initially is to see if you would work together. So if you break up, it's not this horrible thing if you break up after 3 weeks. It's a success story. It's like you dated,
Yeah.
we weren't the right match,
Yeah.
so we move on and find
Yeah.
someone else, and that's a normal thing.
I guess it's trial and error.
Yeah, it's trial and error. And I mean, yeah, it changes when you're like 6 months in or whatever, but like in the first instance.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are getting very attached in that first instance, and I was like, why are people being so butthurt over like, like we dated for 3 weeks, bud. Like,
Yeah,
calm
okay,
down.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
So I was just really interested in that concept, and that's kind of where the lyrics kind of came from for Too Cool. So.
That's awesome. Vesco, do you have anything that you want to elaborate on in terms of your collaboration with Kate?
I think it's been such a pleasure working with Kate for the last 2.5 years. It's been amazing to see the growth in her as a songwriter as well. And Kate's kind of become my go-to for, doesn't really matter what genre I'm doing. I'm like, it would be nice to have Kate in the room. And just, she has really, really cool ideas. And she's really good with hooks as well.
Okay.
And that's kind of that's what I'm
catchy hooks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my starting point of a track is you have a cool guitar or a piano melody, and then you need to come up with a catchy hook. And Kate's kind of my right hand in that stuff. So very, very easy to work with, and a lovely person all in all.
Lovely.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's really great to see that you guys have such synergy together working on this track. And this track is obviously proof is in the pudding. This track is definitely proof of that. So have you picked your music oracle? Okay, drum roll.
PJ Harvey.
PJ Harvey.
She's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, the Sunny's Attitude.
It says, when in doubt, swim to new ground.
Wow. Okay.
That's deep.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep.
That's how deep you are swimming. But yeah.
Yeah. And then Lifestyle.
Jam with others, but remain the lead.
Okay.
I like that personally.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could jam with you, but I'm the star.
I like that personally.
Oh
I
yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah. 100%. And Inspiration.
It says, redream past lives.
Ah. Yeah. I wonder if that's meant to be. That's where you could seek inspiration.
Yeah, I guess so. Like,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, good
Interesting.
Thank you,
Good
PJ
things.
Harvey.
PJ, good job, PJ.
Yeah, good job, PJ. All right, so thank you so much, guys. That's my time, and so we're hitting 3 p.m. We're gonna go into the next artist, and Ashley's gonna jump on the hot seat. Thank you so much, Vesco, for coming here. I really appreciate you taking the time, and Kate, Ivan Pajaro. Yeah, and so Sam Nafi had to run off. He's got a gig, so he's at the sound check. So yes, appreciate you guys very much for being here.
Fantastic having you all in the studio with us. It's been absolutely awesome. Loved hearing the music and some wonderful tracks that you guys have played. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for having us, and best of luck for the radio station. It's really cool that you guys are doing this as well. So
Awesome.
happy to support.
Thank you, and shout outs to Tristram, of course. He's the mastermind behind all this. Has orchestrated a very beautiful setup here, giving us the opportunity to introduce new talent in Australia.
So stay with us, because coming up in the studio next we have Leon Holmes coming in to talk with us about his passion for painting, and he is a plein air painter. He is absolutely amazing, lives locally here in Mandurah, and I'm really looking forward to having a chat with him. So stay tuned, and we'll change it up and
jump onto some Paul Kelly next.